So do a little update here on our progress. So this side is powering this room and the kitchen, toaster, and the microwave. Just I wired them in direct, did a little test. And over here, I've dropped the first box in. It's not bolted in place yet. I've just started pulling the wire through. So got a hole here. I cut this with using my hydraulic punch. I put a nice bigger hole here and one here. Put a little piece of conduit there. So go ahead and pull this through. All right, that's that. This is the input from this side. And here's all these wires running out, and they come out into the panel area. So they all got to be wired up. Everything's off in this panel. That panel, everything's still on. So I'm going to work in this panel first. Of course, at the top, that's still hot, and that's a lot of power. That's directly from the utility, so I don't want to get anywhere near that. All right, so the idea is to take, for each circuit that I'm going to replace, I'm going to pull this black wire out, find the J wire in the red, plug it into here, find the J wire in the black, and connect it back up to this circuit. So that way, when the transfer switches to utility, the power will come out of here, go into the transfer switch, and back out through the black line to this circuit. And when it's in solar or generator mode, then it'll take power from the solar and run it out the black wire to the same circuit. So let's get started on this. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is wire in my ground wire and my common. So these are going to come up, and I'm going to put them both on this side because, well, I could split them, but we'll see. So cut this one right here. All right, now we'll do our common. Tighten her up. I got my common and my ground connected. Take our C wire off. Okay, so I've got my red C and my black C. And I'm going to come around here, so I'm going over to this guy. I took that wire out. Just want to get in here, go behind this guy. Go right in here. All right, so that's the supply wire. Okay, now I got to hook up this. Where'd my black wire go? Must be this guy. There we go. All right, so one's done. Hold them together. That should do it. Okay, so now to do this 220 circuit, it's pretty similar. I'm just going to take the A and the B wires and connect them all up to here, and that puts the A and the B as a combined switch over here on a double breaker. All right, so other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. Use a little bigger wire nut on this one because it's a little bigger wire. That'll be my biggest circuit here, right here, the dryer, which I don't plan to run off of the solar very much. I'm going to use it as a dump load. So whenever I got a lot of sunshine, the battery's full, I just burn it off on the dryer. Might as well use it, otherwise it goes to waste. Okay, so I've got them all wired up. All my circuits are wired, A through J. So now I want to bring this up slowly. So we'll have to think about this as we go. But right now, all the power from the solar coming in is off. So there's nothing on these wires. All these breakers are off. These are the solar breakers. All these switches are off. All these are off, and the main is off. So I think the first thing I want to do is just turn on the main breaker and see if that causes any trouble. Okay, so that energizes the panel. I think that's the switch right here. So if I turn this on, it's going to put power, that's going to run power to that red wire up to the J switch. So if I turn on line, that should turn on this light. All right, let's see what happens. Boom. That gets me over to here. Line turns on the light. Look at that, we got a light. Switch it to gen. And of course there's no generator, so it goes off. I'm gonna turn that off. And that off. So we're back to everything's off except this breaker. And then now I'm gonna turn power on from the solar just to energize this side. So let's do that. So I went over and actually I turned this side off, coming from my temporary solar stuff, because I didn't want both sides on. So now I've got just this side on. Everything else is off, all the breakers are off. So I'm gonna leave my J breaker off here and turn on my J breaker here. Okay, and then if I go to gen, I got a light. Look at that, I got light. All right, so now, let's turn that off, turn this on. So now, this transfer switch is powered by the utility and by the solar. So I should be able to switch to line or to gen. Look at that. Yay. All right, let's try the rest of them. I think we'll go through one at a time. Okay, refrigerator. So that should turn on the fridge. Let's go check. Okay, so I turned the dryer on, ran it off the utility, and now I've switched it to the solar. You see we're pulling quite a bit of watts there. Maybe, I don't know, what is that, 3,000? A little over 3,000 watts maybe. This is running. Okay, so out here, our solar is really kicking in now. So we're getting, what, 110, 120 amps off the solar panels. We're still down negative 12 amps from what we're pulling. So let's see what we got coming through here. 65 and 66 amps being pulled off the two inverters. So they're both running in parallel now because one hit its 60% limit. 65 and 66 amps. So I've got this side all tied up. It's all done. Did a little bit of testing on it. There's like a whole bunch of different permutations of whether it's on solar, on power, half on solar, half on power, what's plugged in, what's not, and switching back and forth. So like right now, all these are on the line and all these three are on the solar. So this side's pretty done. I'm going to start working on this side. So I got to cut the power, roll up these wires, get the transfer panel in here, pull all the wires down through this hole and up through this hole, and then just go through the circuits. Let's see. I guess I'll start with this.
Don't shock yourself.
Oh, believe me, I'm trying not to. All right, so I got my second transfer box mounted in here. It's all in place. Got it wired in with the power from the solar. And I changed out some of the breakers. I needed 15s here. Had to take out the pole in here, separate these out. I only have one double. And these needed to be 20s. All right, so now Got all the wire pulled down through here, through the stud wall. Now we're gonna go up through this conduit knockout piece here. Just like so. Not too bad. Maybe I'll leave a little extra here. Should be able to get to all these pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so I got this side all wired up. All my circuits, all the reds into the breakers, all the black wires into the circuits. They're all wire capped, with wire nuts. And I got my incoming solar tied up here. Okay. There we go. The well came on. Let's turn the rest of these on. All right, that's everything. Oh, they're not on yet. So. Now everything's on.